So for my wisdom project, I was able to get to sit down and interview talking to two fabulous teachers and also getting to send the email and then relate back to me with email on some great and valuable resources and some information about how they utilize social studies and what they feel about social studies in a classroom. My K2 teacher, she's been a teacher for many years. She started out as a primetime employee, and then she became a teacher assistant, and then she fell in love with helping out in the classroom, and she went back to school and received her bachelor's degree, and then she also went back and got her master's in administration, and she also received her national boards. So she is very smart, well educated, and an excellent teacher. I had a great time sitting down to talk to her. We talked about how she utilizes social studies, how she feels about social studies. In K1, she referenced that social studies was not something that they touch base on a lot in the K2 curriculum. She said she kind of wished that, they could talk about it more, but they don't. I'm going to share my screen. One way that she utilizes social studies is she uses Teacher Pay Teacher for a lot of her resources, which is great ways to come up with activities. A lot of resources are free. Some of them she said she has to pay, which, as you can see, with low rates of $4.25 to download digital copies of things that she can use in her classroom. She uses basically the first grade team uses what they call Christmas Around the World, which incorporates social studies in their room. She said they don't have textbooks or anything that they can go by. So this way, students are exposed to different cultures and how they celebrate Christmas. Some cultures, don't even call it Christmas, and they have figures not as Santa Claus, but maybe as like the witch. The kids learn about the different foods. They learn about how they celebrate Christmas, how Santa is represented in each country. During this time, she stated that, the classes get to switch from each teacher, so they're not with their teacher learning about all of the countries that they're learning about and Christmas in those countries. So they get exposed and they get to move around, which engages them a lot because they're listening to different people. In each activity, they learn the basics, maybe like the foods, how they celebrate, what Santa Claus is represented in that country. They also get to take notes. So they're learning how to take notes during this process by watching simple clips, videos. She may read some stories, books, and then they get to make small crafts. It could be as far as an ornament, or they get to make a food sample and they get to try it. She said the kids love it. They're very engaged because they get to have hands-on experiences with this. And so she said it was just a fun activity for kids. My next teacher that I got to talk to was a fourth grade teacher, and she absolutely loves social studies. She said that she wished that she could teach social studies every day, all day long, because she is just a phenomenal teacher at that, and that's her favorite subject. She as well is a teacher, been a teacher for years. And she also was a TA prior to that. She was actually my son's TA when he was in first grade. So she's advanced from a TA at the same school to now a teacher. Walking into her room, I could totally experience and see her love for social studies. The state of North Carolina, she had bulletin boards that were full of the state. It was like crops and like historical things that had happened in the state. And it was just different like pictures and words and vocabulary and everything, and all through her room, she has social studies things posted. She stated that social studies was just not taught like she felt it should be. Once again, they don't have textbooks for social studies anymore. They do have a social studies workbook that the students are allowed to work out of, and she does utilize this. But she said with the time and the pressure of engaging English language arts and math, that they just don't have enough time to focus on social studies like she feels that it should be. And she feels that, social studies is very important, and that students should be exposed to it, and there should be an allotted amount of time for them to learn about social studies and the historical facts and what led up to those facts. And because it affects the students today, they need to know the past history to understand why things are happening today and what caused them and led to what's happening today and what could happen possibly in the future. She just expressed that she wished they would bring back the textbooks because they had some great and valuable information. She also said that they don't do a lot of hands-on activities. She wished that she had more time where she could focus on hands-on activities. She expressed that once they get to 5th grade, there is a thing that they could do where they actually learn about historical figures in the world, and then they get to create like a wax museum, and they get to dress up and reenact that. And then people from the school, other students, peers, staff, and parents and community members can come in and they can view this wax museum. And she said it was a great project for those kids because they got to actually research the character. Then they got to become the character. And she said it actually makes them understand what they're researching, and it makes it fun for them, and they can become creative. She said she just wishes that, she had more time to do things like this with the students, to be able to read stories, historical stories, and have them reenact little skits and plays, having them do landform projects, to learn about the land and how things have changed. And she said there's just not enough time in the daily schedule and planning for her to do this. She did state that she uses this website here, the Tech Advocate website, which she said provides a lot of good information as far as social studies ideas that she can do with the class. And there's a lot of good resources here as I search through them to find things out and what you could do, and like voicing different things and parts of social studies that she could use. She also stated that she did use teacher pay teachers also, because she said there was some great print offs there. But once again, like she said, there's just not enough time in her daily schedule with the focus on English language arts that she can focus into this. And actually right now she is the lead guided reading teacher. So they have her teaching a rotation. All 3 of her 4th grade classes rotate, and she is focused on guided reading. So therefore she has groups. And so in between those guided groups, she kind of gives them independent work in these social study workbooks where she prints off worksheets, and they're able to go in and find definitions and match them with, sentences and fill in the blanks and stuff like that. Those are the only things that she can incorporate at this time because there's just not enough time. I learned a lot of great information from both of these teachers. I'm so glad I had the opportunity to talk with them. They're well educated. They both feel like social studies is important to integrate it into the lessons, and they said they try to integrate it as much as possible. But right now with the curriculum, they just don't have the time that they wish that they could have to focus on social studies. And in my opinion, I think that's sad, because our historical facts are very important, and children are missing out on some great and useful information that they need to know. So I was glad I got the opportunity to do this, and my paper explains a lot about the teachers and how they felt, and that's about it.